Hello, welcome to the Think Big for Africa podcast. My name is Ekene Banye. Today I have a diamond at my backyard. Yes, I say that because my guest today has been someone I have been on a forum with for years. I mean, years. But I only discovered him just a few weeks ago, and that's not very good. That's not very good. He is a power list. His name is on a power list for 2022. And the power list ranks the most influential Black people in the UK. So you see what I mean when I say he's a diamond in my backyard that I fail to recognize. Okay. He's a property entrepreneur and the managing director and founder of Daniel Ford International. His name is Yemi Edun. Yemi, how are you?
Very well, bro.
Yeah.
Very well.
It's interesting that we have been on the same forum for a long time, and I failed to recognize the kind of people I've been chatting with, arguing with, and all that. Yeah, you are on that list. I mean, tell me about it. Tell me about it. What does that mean? Okay. And how does anybody get into that list? Maybe I will try to make sure in a few years I will join you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. And thanks for sharing your story with me as well.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Powerlist, the truth is, I don't think anybody on the list would have woken up and set out to
be on the list.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll calm down.
So I think the most important thing is to get on with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Try to add value, and not everybody will get recognized. But I see my inclusion in the list in 2021 and 2022 as an opportunity to add a voice to the industry I represent.
Yeah.
Which in our community, it is grossly underrepresented, which is the property industry.
Yeah.
I'm actually the first person from the real estate industry to make the list.
Wow.
And, I hope that in the next couple of years, we would have more people, because definitely there are a lot of people doing great things.
Yeah.
But it is not about the money in the bank account.
Yeah.
It is about the value.
The impact of what
impact,
you...
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Yemi, tell my audience a little bit about you and what you do, so that they can understand better.
So Yemi Edun is Nigerian origin. Been living in the UK permanently in the last 25 years. Came in, and I would say blank canvas.
Yeah.
When everyone was drifting more to IT.
Yeah.
I think after a week, I realized that I was lost. Let's just put it. It wasn't my world. I quickly realized I wouldn't go far here. I had an opportunity as, for want of a better word, boy in a real estate firm. And I rose up the ladder over time, letting sales, became a financial advisor.
Okay.
You know, but all the pointers were there from a young age.
Yeah.
I've always been entrepreneurial, you know, but I just needed to adjust to the new environment.
Yeah.
Took one or two steps backwards, understood the terrain. I think the universe aligned with my steps.
Yeah.
Because I got into the industry, I think about the right time. You know, the early days, you have to go to the library to research.
Yeah.
You know, you have to advertise in the Loot magazine. You know, community was still strong. However, fewer people had the understanding on how to get to the property ladder.
Yes.
So with people like myself coming on, the word of mouth spread. We started including things like life policy, you know, and people saw the results of people that had a cover and suffered a loss. And, you know, step by step, a lot started happening.
Yeah.
People realized that it made more sense to own than to rent. Yeah, and so you know, destiny, the universe.
Yeah. I read your well, I'll call it a blog post on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, the one you sent me. Okay. And I was saying, wow. See, the way you took on that property and did everything in your power, okay, to sell a property that has been on the market for a long time, including even wanting to delay your travel, and then the universe worked on your side when the flight was overbooked, and they offered, hey, who wants to stay back and go tomorrow? You quickly say you, and that's split second gave you another day to conclude your transaction. That's
absolutely,
that's wonderful. You see, what you just said, that several things that young entrepreneurs get. You said you took a few steps back. See, sometimes running always forward does not do the work. You have to take that. You took that kind of step back. Can you tell my young entrepreneur listeners what that kind of thing might be in their world, that they may need to take a few steps back to progress?
Thank you. I know with youths comes exuberance and the desire to get it done now.
Yeah.
You know, but at times doing nothing might actually be better. You know, just imagine 2-3 weeks ago investing heavily in Russian stock exchange.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, you know, we try our best, but we need, you know, for the spiritual, God,
the universe,
and whatever, you know. Look, some people are turning from billionaires to being on shore overnight.
Yeah.
Due to no
fault of their own.
And totally out of their hands.
Yeah.
So I wake up thinking of value. I've never woken up thinking of money, because when you give value, money will come.
Money will
Not
come.
necessarily in terms of in your pocket.
Yeah.
Goodwill is money.
Yeah.
Like in every story, there are undertones, there are different sub-themes and all that. And that is, that has been the story of my life.
So we know that real estate property is very important area of the economy. Okay. And it will continue being lucrative for those who understand the ups and downs of the business. What is the upside, okay, of the African real estate business? Because, see, in Nigeria today, there are so many builders, okay, property investors building new properties all over the Lagos, for example, okay? And I'm sure the same thing is happening in several other big cities across the continent. Now, we know that we don't have many people, many owners, okay, in the big cities in Africa, okay? There are few owners who own a lot of property around the big cities. So what is the upside of the real estate business in Africa?
I still think it's at its infancy, and there's still a lot. Real estate cannot be looked at in isolation.
Okay.
We have to tie it in with transport. We have to tie it in with security.
Yeah.
We have to, the right enabling environment. And we can look at it from two angles. You have the developers. Is there money?
Yeah.
To be made in developing real estate in Africa?
Yeah.
And you have to look at it from the off-takers' point of view.
Okay. And what does that mean?
Off-takers are people, the end users.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The end users. The currency stability is very important. Using Nigeria as a case study, if you had gone to Nigeria with $1 million 10 years ago, and you want to bring that $1 million back now, right? Because of the crash of the Naira, you'll probably be lucky to get $300,000. So all these things have to be in tandem, and there has to be a conscious effort to get it right. It's not going to be done overnight. Dubai was not done overnight.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have to use Dubai as our benchmark, but the good news for Africa is the fact that the world is looking for new destinations.
Yeah.
You don't see cruise liners or, the luxury or the leisure cruises in West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why you have the Atlantic and you have the ocean. You have cities like Calabar, Lagos, Lomé, Accra, Abidjan, and there are no cruises running.
That's true.
We have to, the fact that we have cocoa oil has really blindsided everyone.
Yes.
To the value of tourism, because tourism is one of the few industries that the money trickles down fast.
Yeah.
Because your local guides are local people, the drivers, the hoteliers, so we have to look at it and make conscious efforts to ensure that we are on track.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we can get a chunk. If you look at the number of Brits that go to Greece or Cyprus a year, compared to the numbers that go to West Africa a year. You
see, talking about tourism and properties, see, for a long time, from my teenage years, I've always imagined the Barbich Road. Okay, this is the sea. Okay, why don't we have road from Lagos all through Port Harcourt, Calabar, and hotels? And see, I mean, that's my imagination. Why don't you have that? Because it will expose so many areas of the country and attract so many tourists, cruise liners. Why not? I mean, I'm just thinking, so that there are so many things. Yes, there are so many things and so many opportunities in property, in tourism. All we need to do, well, according to me, is think, and this is why this is Think Big for Africa. See, I just hope we continue the trend that is going on right now, because a lot of young Africans entrepreneurs are doing things, especially in the tech side. Now, I hope in the property side and other tourism and others, we get it right, and then we can build Africa one brick at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what characteristics do people need to have to succeed in real estate? I mean, you are the right person to ask, because you have gone from bottom to top in that space.
Thank you. Well, you have to know real estate to start with is a local enterprise.
Okay.
Put Yemi Edun in Mumbai.
Nothing. You have to go back to drawing board to learn. Okay.
So it's local.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Don't try to do it all. Don't try to do it all. You might know bits and bytes of all the aspects.
Okay.
But have a specialty that stands you out. But the most important thing is that local knowledge. It's so important.
Wow.
I pride myself that there is nothing happening north of the river that I'm not au fait with.
Okay.
It's very important. It's important, and this is not to impress anybody. It's a challenge. It's a need. It's a tool of work. It's like a black cab not knowing a major street in London.
Yeah.
So local knowledge is very, very important.
Yeah.
Information is key, because this gets repeated, but it's the fact. There are not many things in life that people would expend money on that would be more expensive than London property. So they need to know they are speaking to someone that understands what they are going into and can answer the question. Because like we said, property is not just about the brick and mortar. It's about the local amenities. It's about the schools. It's about everything. So for you to thrive in an industry like that, you need to know your patch, and trust is crucial.
Yeah.
And information is essential, because very few properties make it onto the portal. Word of mouth, divorce settlements, professionals whispering, that's where you get the gems, These are key stuff that are required. Obviously, you need the tenacity is important.
Yeah.
That would just give you the edge, perseverance, the early days, because the real estate is an industry that until the deal is done, you are not sure
yeah.
anything's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I do say that in the triangle, the bank might decide not to lend at the last minute.
Yeah.
The buyer might decide not to go ahead.
Yeah.
And the vendor might just change his mind. So you need patience, you need patience.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So now we are looking at the world. Like we say, the world is a small place, and what is going on between Russia, Ukraine, and the West, the Western democracies. See, you as a Chelsea fan, it's now affecting your club in some ways, okay, and the potential effect of this conflict on London properties also. So, looking at everything, what's your view of what's going on?
It's a very sad development.
Yeah.
Regardless of which side you pit your position with, it's a very sad development because people's lives have been disrupted.
At a stake. Yeah.
Due to no fault of theirs. And we all know that at the end of the day, this will end on a table.
Exactly.
So why didn't it start on the table?
Yeah,
that's the sad thing. It's very, very sad. As a matter of fact, thinking about football is so insignificant to what is happening to people's lives.
Yeah,
there would always be a Chelsea one way or the other. We've all been here. The clubs have gone under and come back one way or the other. Wimbledon is still you can still relate them to MK Dons.
Yeah.
So I think less of the football disruption or potential disruption, more of you mentioned the London property
real estate, yes,
terrain as well. It's not very good because one of the things we sell about London is the fact that your asset is protected.
Yeah, and anybody can come here and buy. Yeah.
And now people, because they probably took a picture with someone or did business with someone, are at the risk of losing their London property.
Wow.
It is changing the narration of what even Britain stands for.
Yeah.
We know these are not normal times, but these are dangerous trends because when you give man power, this could be any one of us. It could be Nigeria tomorrow. It could be South Africa. It could be the US. So what happens? Because how do you justify someone being punished for the actions of another man?
Yeah.
And without going through any judicial
legal
process.
system. Yeah. See,
it's very uncomfortable. It's still something that's playing out, and we just hope that it will not degenerate further. But it's not. These are not good signs. We just hope they can find a a resolution on the table.
And quick. Yeah, quick. You know, all of us who are armchair pundits, you know, it doesn't matter what we think. It's real for people losing their life, losing their home. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah. Yemi, interestingly, like I said, we got together very recently, and when I told you my story, you also told me your family story, because you have a loved one who is going through the same, a similar challenge, health challenge that I'm going through. Okay. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. So tell me, what happened? How did it happen?
Well, it's long, but I will just try and make it as short as possible. Everything was okay. Been married for about 17 years this year.
Wow.
And 2 years ago, 2019, that's 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago, on a Friday evening, I got a call. Are you, Mr. Edun, where are you? I said, I'm at home. And my wife's best friend, said, oh, we're on the drive. There is a situation. And I stepped out. My wife was sitting by the passenger side. And I could tell that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Our hands were not moving. And all the telltales of
a stroke.
And that was how everything started. She was in coma for about 17 days. And at that point, our last child was it was still on the breastfeeding.
Yeah.
So, so in the context of what we were talking about earlier, everything just changed from that moment.
Yeah, it does.
And for someone that's used to being on top of what he's doing, I was helpless, and I can't do anything beyond just being around and reacting, But the NHS heroes were great. The team were great. They did their best, and she reacted. And after about 6 months in the hospital, she's back home.
Yeah.
But that's the first.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the recovery.
Journey.
Yeah.
Of the journey. But it's not just about patients, because the children and people around too, they're actually more at risk, in my opinion, in terms of, because she was always getting care. She had the best hands, 24 hours. To start with, in our community, we don't even know how to care. We don't, because people don't want to step on the wrong end, or they don't know what to say, how to say, when to say. And I feel sorry for people that so it's so difficult. What do? Do you go and visit the person? Are you a burden even visiting the person? But we're a dynamic community, and I believe that we should speak, we should share.
Yes.
One of the things that really, really, because in the property world, you mix with different nationalities.
Yes.
And one of my colleagues who is Jewish one day came into the office and called that, oh, my neighbor lost a partner. I can't remember if it's the man or the woman. And when he came into the office, he showed me a website. And what the community did was they started, kosher meal. They have their restaurants, they order meals. And in my eyes, in less than 1 hour, they had donated food for the next 1 month.
Wow.
So the man or the woman facing that crisis, the family didn't have to think of.
Yeah. So all those
for the next
things is settled by the community.
By a community. But on the side of the community, they didn't need to go to their house individually or call out, So we should just try to build things. And I think the only way we can do this is share information, share experiences, and all that. You know, I think in the context of us, very, very good support. And I think it was handled as best as it could at that point, because we created a roster.
Okay.
We understood that this might be going on for a long time. And what you don't want is a lot of visitors in the early stages.
Yeah, and then nothing. I understand. I fully understand.
So what we did from day one was created a roster. So morning visitors, afternoon visitors, and evening visitors, and we're able to spread it out. So all through the 6 months, there was no day she didn't have a minimum of 5 visitors.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's important we share our experience and compare notes and develop on it. Stroke is real. Stroke is real, and knowing what to do when it
happens to somebody around you.
Between life, it might be the difference between life and death.
Yeah. If see, Yemi, when mine happened, that was the time the Stroke Association had this advert on TV to spread the message. So every evening, I watch one of those 1 minute ad to tell you hand, mouth, all that. Before then, I didn't know what a stroke is. In truth, I didn't know what it was. So when mine happened in the morning, I was alone in the room. When it happened to me, I fainted or something. So when I came to, and I was thinking, why am I on the floor? And I tried to stand up. I couldn't. Okay. Well, luckily my wife was coming upstairs and she came to the room and she saw me, and then she called the ambulance. I was in hospital for 6 weeks, and my friends were all coming, Afi, and one person I would say also in a forum, Yomi was always coming. Okay, he goes to work in London. He lives in Wellingborough City. Most of the time he comes, I'm asleep, and I turn around, and who do I see? Yomi. Okay. See, on the forum, you might not know that Yomi is my longest friend. He has been my friend for over 38 years. Okay. But on the forum, because of the way we argue, people would not know that. So Yomi was very, very good. He was my friend. At that time, he showed that friendship. He was always coming, So I had a lot of support, family, friends. They came. That's very good. So I was happy when I talked to your wife the other day. I'm happy to hear her voice, and yes, she has the journey is just starting, okay, because it's a difficult journey. That's the truth. That is the truth. Recovering from its stroke is difficult. Is hard because we need to do things over and over and over and over and over again for it to stick. And sometimes people get tired, and that's why we as survivors, we need to talk to each other, okay, and encourage each other, because it's a hard journey, Yeah. Thank you for what you're doing. Okay. All right. Now, as an entrepreneur, okay, as an African, okay, what is your advice to young Africans who want to contribute their own little quota to their community?
Thank you. Well, I mentor a lot of young ones in the community, and their energy is palpable. And and they want change now. And I believe you're as good as your network. You're as good as what you listen to or what you're exposed to.
Yes.
It's not a one size fits all advice.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody would have to do what they think is best for them.
Okay.
Some would believe that going into politics might be a way. Some might believe building and developing an app or a contraption would be the way.
Yeah.
But coming back home, what I and a few friends have come up with in the last 2 years is a platform to give back.
Okay.
If you look around London, there are many communities that have legacy buildings or legacy projects.
Yeah.
The Somalian community that I say they've been here just for 2 minutes. They have different centers.
Yeah. Okay.
They have different centers. Bangladesh, Vietnamese, the Jewish community, Cypriots. You're talking of schools.
Yeah.
You're talking of hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
So as a community, I think we need to do more. We spend too much time knocking the government. And we've seen from experience that even when one of us gets there, there is little or no difference.
They don't do any difference. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's gotten us to think that the government is actually a reflection of our people. If you look at Southwest Nigeria, very party-loving people. There are a lot of Yorubas in London or the UK at large. But I not seen many event centers or halls owned by Nigerians for what you love doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you go around, the Indians, the Turks, the Chinese, they have these things,
Yeah.
So
community.
When you say give community, even our history, how would it be passed down when we don't have a community center, So what we've done is we've been able to gather about 80 people who commit what they are comfortable with every month, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds a month.
Yeah.
And the drive behind that is if we're able to get 100 people doing 50 pounds.
Yeah.
We can buy things like wheelchairs. We can change the little bit we can.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a strong supporter of adopting a child. I would rather adopt a teacher. You know, because if you adopt a teacher, that teacher can take care of about 30 to 40
very good
students.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And if that teacher is well paid, he can focus on giving the kids the best.
Yeah.
If you get a very good maths teacher, the maths teacher in most cases are usually good in the sciences, physics, biology, chemistry. If you get a very good English teacher, they'll be good in the humanities, literature, government, history, you know. So, you know, we should be thinking of doing this, you know. I see other people, other communities giving back to their community.
Yeah.
But I don't see that much happening within our community. And I think we need to change that narrative as soon as possible.
That's very, very, very good. What you said is exactly what is happening to us. See, we do a little too much complaining and take little action to change things, you know. So that's something we need to work on. Very good. Thank you for that. So well, for me, this is what I ask my guests at the end of my podcast. See, I ask them to open their imagination, okay, and look forward in the future, 20, 30 years time. Okay, how do you want to see Africa? Okay, so you being an property entrepreneur, how do you want to see the property business, property acquisition for individuals in Africa in the next 20, 30 years time?
Roof is a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, having a roof over your head is a necessity that probably only comes next to food and clothing. You know, it's not just having a roof over your head, right? Having a decent roof, affordable.
Yeah.
And the game changer would be affordable mortgages.
Yeah.
I think what God has bequeathed Africa is nature.
Yes.
Weather. All over the world, there are nationalities that are wealthy and they have liquidity. We need to be able to attract them. So if Accra can get 500,000 tourists a year,
yeah,
and each tourist spending $100 or $200, we know what that would mean.
Yes.
Yeah. And because they're in Accra, they realize that Lagos is just 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Why not just visit Lagos?
Exactly.
You know? So for me, in the next 20 years, if we can grow the tourist flow to West Africa,
yes,
to the heights of the numbers we get going to Croatia,
yeah, exactly,
or Cyprus,
yeah,
then we are on the right
Thailand track. I mean, tourism. Yeah.
You know, because these guys will need to pay for the roof over their head.
Yes.
You know, Someone has to cook for them. Someone has to drive them. Someone has to secure them. And that is where everything ties together. And like I said earlier, you can't look at real estate in isolation.
Yes.
They have to use what nature has bequeathed us to attract people. We're just 6 hours away from many European cities by air. People fly from London to Brazil, which is 13 hours. So why can't you attract them when you're 6 hours away? You know? So there has to be a conscious plan, to attract. You can't take it for granted that people will just visit your country.
Yeah.
Even you see adverts of visit New York, visit London, visit Morocco.
Exactly.
So why do you think someone would just wake up and just
go to Accra, go to Lagos, go to Lomé? Yeah. You're very right. You are very right.
So I think it has to be tied. It has to be tied to. There was a time Dubai, under the garb of being duty free, everybody was going to Dubai. Then they forgot to ask about the duty free. Realize that even the goods are more expensive than other places in the world. But when you go there once, you get captivated and you want to go back.
Yes.
So there must be a plan.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yemi, it's nice to have you on the Think Big for Africa podcast. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye.